Hey mate, how are you doing?
Well, welcome back to the compound.
Welcome back to the compound, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, yeah, not too bad.
What are we talking about today, Will?
What's your why, mate?
What's my why?
Not yours specifically.
In general. Great topic and overlooked, I think, when it comes to most things. If people think they're doing things for a certain reason, and if that's not strong enough, that's probably the reason why they don't succeed.
Yeah, it's the pinnacle for me. It's the starting question. I think a lot of people want something, but the people like want something, but they don't often understand why they want it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big thing to really understand. And then people go, no, I do know why I want it. And they go, because I'm not happy in myself. And I still even then think people really reserve why they're doing something.
Yeah, you have to dig deep with it.
Yeah, like a lot of people, they struggle to accept the current circumstances. They struggle to accept that they're there because of everything that they've done. It's like
owning it.
Yeah, it's almost like an acceptance of where you're at and that you're the one to blame. And until you do that, that's like step number one. And I think after that, you've then got to really look at
100% agree. A lot of my clients will say, well, I'd like to lose a little bit of weight because I feel like I'm a bit, and it's sort of wishy-washy. Yeah. And then you dig a little bit deeper and I think the relationship's in trouble because certain behaviours and exercise, that's going to take me away from that. And then you think, right, now we're talking, we've got a really solid reason instead of well, I could do with shifting a few pounds. Like, they don't really know why, and then that's not going to last because you haven't got a strong why.
No, it's an emotional connection, isn't it? It's I think you've got to look down the line as when you're in your journey and you make a decision to like stray off course, or you're going out for a weekend and it's race day or whatever you're doing, and you think, I'm just going to enjoy myself. You know, life's too short. With the lads, with the lasses, whatever, I'm just going to go all out because it's going to make me feel happy. And in that moment, what's actually happening there is your feeling of happiness and joy and enjoyment, if you will, is overriding the other emotion which we've not discovered. We've not uncovered that. So
we're massive, basically.
Yeah, ultimately, and we're looking at it and going, well, that's obviously more important because we've not uncovered that, and I think that is just massively important before anything. I always say you've got to. This is probably why I used to get. I don't want to say I used to get called Satan, but I used to. Maybe this is why I'm not a PT anymore. But back when I used to have clients, and even now to this day, you can speak to anyone who I've spoken to. I'm all about harsh truths, and I'm all about following that process and going, right, okay, why are you doing it? And I'll try and make people cry. And
if it makes them confront the reality, I think that's a useful tool. From the outside looking in, it might seem like he's not a very nice guy.
Why is he doing that?
What a dick. But it's for the greater good, and it's going to get you to the root cause of the real issue and make you confront it.
Yeah. Because what's more powerful when you're on the verge of going to races, or I'm not saying you can't go to races or whatever, but when you're on that verge of really sort of blowing it all out of the water, what's more important, happiness or I just want to lose a few pounds?
It's not going to understand.
Happiness wins, doesn't it, all day long, every single time. So, whereas if you uncover those emotions, like I said, whether it's discovering that, like you said about a relationship, or whether it's discovering that the fact that they want to lose weight because they want to be around for the kids, and I literally make them play out a terrible situation. So go, right, okay, you don't start losing weight, you don't start looking after your health and fitness, anything like that. What happens? What is the worst case scenario? You die at 45, you die at 50 from a heart attack or whatever, and then you're not going to be around to see your kids grow up.
It sounds extreme, but it is a real...
And then you get your clients just going, oh shit. And then you're really trying to unlock, and this is what I would say to anybody listening and watching, is really trying to unlock the reason why. It's obviously important because you keep coming back to it, but why is it important? This is what we're talking about. What is your why? What is the reason why you're doing it? And it should be stronger than anything else. But if you're not willing to feel your emotions at the start of it, then you're not going to be successful, unfortunately. Because in that moment, then when it comes to the races, and you've unlocked it, and you've gone down that journey, and you've cried, and you've realised how important it is, you go, right, what's more important, like me having a laugh with my mates, or me being around to see my kid's 18th birthday?
Yeah, and then it's an easy decision.
Yeah, exactly. And all you've done there is just taking that little bit of extra time at the start of your journey.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's like I said, the pinnacle.
It is. It's just a temporary escape if you don't really confront the true emotion behind it. That, like I said, that little bit of happiness. It's just like putting a plaster on a broken leg. You're not really looking at the real issue. It's just a temporary solution to make you feel better, and then you're right back. That's probably even further drop down because you've been up high again, back down to reality, and it's, no, I really want to lose this weight now. You're not confronted the real issue, the deeper why.
Yeah, I like the fact that you said plaster on your leg. That I always say glitter on shit.
Same thing.
Same thing, that's just a bit more gross, I guess. But that's exactly it. Innit? It's like your situation that you're in. You've got to be brutally honest. Be honest with yourself. Like, it is shit. That is the reason you're here. That is the reason you wanted to change it. Don't make excuses at the start. But we find ourselves doing that, and even me and you will do that at times. And I'm not saying that we're sat here like bloody gurus of the world.
We're humans, aren't we?
Furthest thing from it, we both as well will make excuses for not doing things and doing things and whatever. But if you're starting off on that foot, I mean, you might as well just sort of.
You're already giving yourself a sneaky backdoor exit plan, aren't you? And, well, I'm on this plan, but I'll just to let you know, I'm doing this in the future, so I'll not be able to do it 100%, and also I've hurt my knee, so that might stop me. So they're already, these are reasons why I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you find like a lot from your sort of clients that people don't really accept? Because I do. I don't really accept why they are where they are.
Yeah.
So they'll sort of say, oh well, I'm here because I ain't got time, or I'm here because I went through a bad breakup, or I'm here because I went through this, and it's almost like the responsibility is being passed on.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault.
This has happened to me. I've played no part in it.
Yeah.
I'm completely innocent. Whatever's happened to me has happened. Aren't I unlucky?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I remember I watched a video of Will Smith talking about the difference between fault and responsibility. I don't know if you've ever seen that video. It's a great little sort of, only about a minute and a half long. I recommend anyone to go and watch it. And he basically talks about like the fact that a lot of bad stuff happens to us in life, and whether the reasons you are overweight or the reasons you are unhealthy or unfit or mentally like sort of unwell, whatever, it might not necessarily be your fault that's where you are, but it's, I think in Will Smith's American accent, he said, but it's for damn sure your responsibility to fix it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's not somebody else's responsibility, and it's not somebody else's sort of job to pick you back up. Like, this is your life, it's affecting your life.
Doesn't owe you a favour.
Exactly, and it's not us saying, or me saying to anybody listening, going, oh well, the reason you're overweight is because you just eat too much. I'm not going to be one of these sort of narcissistic people. I understand that like situations and factors affect certain things, and it's a hard pit to, when you're in it, you're stuck, and I understand, and that's why I do what I do, and that's why I coach many women and many men about change, because I understand. It's not like I don't understand, I just think we've got to really sort of understand that we are where we are because of the decisions, the actions, the situations that we've been in, and we need to accept that.
Actions have consequences.
Mm-hmm. They really do.
They do.
They do.
The sooner people accept that, the probably easier it is to confront the issue and get on with it.
Yeah.
Right, I've done that. What's done is done. Draw a line under it. How am I then going to overcome where I've found myself?
Yeah. That's it. It's not. I think it's like I think it's a protection mechanism more than anything. I think if they open up that vulnerable door, or that door where they're, because people like to have control over their lives, people like to have their shit under lock, they like to know what's going on, and they like to be like, yes, I did that. Anything good happens, yeah.
Quick to claim it.
That was me. Quick to claim it. That was me, I did that.
Even if it wasn't.
Anything bad happens, or they're not in a position where they want to be, it's... But I think there's a strength there's a strength in, like you said, admitting that you are where you are because of the decisions you've made, and that's, you're going to be stronger for it because you're going to go, right, it is my fault, my responsibility, so let's move forward. How can I make this different? If I was the one that's responsible for me putting me in this position where I'm at right now, it's also me that's responsible for putting me in a position in 5 years' time, 2 weeks' time, a month's time, whatever sort of goal you've got.
Absolutely.
It's also your responsibility, right?
Of course it is, yeah.
So I think, yeah, that's...
My man Jocko, he talks about it. He used to teach people in his unit when he was in Iraq, take responsibility, extreme ownership. Everything that happens, whether good or bad, if you've been a part of it, you take responsibility for it if it's gone wrong, and then you show me how we're going to get out of it. So you respect that 10 tons more than whose fault is it? Where is it? Him, not me. I haven't done it. I was just following orders. That don't get any respect. So if you look, I could have done this better. This is what we're going to do next time. That's how you move forward together instead of pointing fingers at each other.
Absolutely. Like why make the challenge even more challenging? Do you know what I mean? Why make something that's already going to be really fucking difficult? Like, we know that change is not easy, and especially weight loss, because I know a lot of people listening to this will be weight loss, looking for weight loss. It's probably one of the most sought after goals, really.
Definitely.
And I mean, I'm not saying that there's not going to be other goals that people are wanting, but whatever it is, especially weight loss, change is hard. Like, and it's not something, so why make it longer, why make it more difficult than it needs to be? Like you said, take ownership, and if anything, it's going to happen quicker. And even if in your heart of hearts you're like, but it wasn't my fault, you're obviously either really strongly gone to a point of just denial, or you genuinely might feel like there is another reason as where you are. And it might be the fact that someone did you over at work, and that's the reason you've not been given that opportunity to have an interview for a promotion, and that might be the case. But what we're going to do is sit around and moan about it? No. That's not going to achieve anything, is it? It's not going to do anything for the future of your promotions and successes. Like, if anything, use that, and then when it comes around to that moment again, if you go into that interview or you go to that promotion and explain how you overcame that, you're telling me an employer's not going to be impressed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Oh my God! Like,
use the loss or the slight as a chance to relearn your craft, get better at your job, get better prepared for the next time, and then you can go into that fully confident instead of well, it weren't my fault, I should have had that, he got that, it's not fair, boo-hoo. Yeah, just don't, that's not going to work for you.
Yeah, I mean, I once, I don't know if we mentioned before on the podcast, Eric Thomas, I think we have, I bang on him about him all the time because he's one of my favourite motivational speakers, and the reason that I sort of made the change myself. And I think everyone needs inspiration, everyone needs motivation, and sometimes, this isn't a side point onto what I'm actually going to talk about, but I think we do sometimes need an external motivation. And I think sometimes reaching out and help, getting somebody to help you find your why, is really important too. Like, you might be listening to this and thinking, I don't know what my why is. I just want to lose weight. That's all I want to know is how to lose weight. That's all I want. Don't really know why I want it,
but there's a reason.
But there is, and sometimes it's just a question. It's a time, it's an occurrence, it's something that will trigger it and go, oh shit, that's why. And sometimes it just takes somebody else or another
conversation
thing,
or a video or something.
That's it. And for me, that was it for me. And Eric Thomas was that person for me where I sort of just thought, and he was the person to unlock that for me. He didn't do anything. He's just a man who speaks on in front of a camera, right? He doesn't know me. He doesn't know what my why is, but he helped me unlock that, and if you can find something that helps you do that, then that's another way that you can go about it. But he once told a story about an architect and his young understudy. I don't know if
I think you're out with the house.
You're the house, and it's a great analogy, and I think the sort of the message behind it is just so powerful. for anybody that hasn't heard it, in short, I'm not going to tell the full thing because it is quite a long one. I think it took me about 5 minutes when I originally did the first video. But basically, this revered designer, architect, has built houses, cathedrals, like whatever, like the biggest and most established buildings, like stunning buildings across the world. And he sees potential in his young understudy, he sees potential in this person below him, and he thinks, okay, this guy's got real potential. So he says to the young understudy, I'm going away for 2 weeks, I'm done, I'm close to retirement, I've had enough of this career, but I can see potential in you, I can see that you can do great things in this industry like I did. I want you to build my retirement home. And he basically says, you've got unlimited budget, unlimited materials, whatever you want to do, just do it. I'm going away, I'm not going to oversee it, I'm not going to do anything, this is on you, and da-da-da-da. Anyway, he goes away and he sort of, as he's gone, this young understudy starts slacking and he starts using inferior products, and he starts thinking, well, it's not my house, it's, you know, it's why am I doing this for him, like who does he think he is, like telling me that I've got to build his own house, da 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 da. And then the guy comes back, the revered designer comes back and wanders around to inspect it, and it's good, it's not a bad house, it's a decent, I mean, me and you would live there, do you know what I mean? I mean, we don't know what it looks like, it's fiction, but I can imagine it's amazing, right? But it's just not quite that standard, and you can tell he's slacked, you can tell he's not been turning up on time, you can tell he's been using inferior products. And at the moment that the story that struck me, and this story I think was told by Les Brown originally, then Eric Thomas again, and at the moment that sort of took me by surprise was the fact when the revered designer sort of looks at the understudy and says, here are the keys. And he's like, what? Like, what do you mean here are the keys? Like, it's just like, these are the keys to your house.
That you've just built.
You've built this. This is your product of your effort. And I think
it's a strong message.
It's a very strong message, because had he have known that he was building this, he did use marble, crystal, he'd have been absolutely sweating it. And the message from it was, you are building your house every single day, and you've got to put forth the effort as if everything you're doing is yours. So like whatever your job is, you've got to give it 110%. If it's something you're passionate about, or something that you've got a gift or a talent,
give it your all.
Give it your all.
Ultimately, your actions are benefiting you. Everything you do should benefit you and those around you. And if you're phoning things in, you're going to end up with a pretty shit house.
And the thing is it's a metaphor. That story. It's not about the architect. But basically, the house that you're living in, if you're not happy with it, like your weight, your relationship, your job, your career, whatever, like
it's down to you.
But it's yours. It's a product of your effort, unfortunately. Whether that's shocking, and I think a lot of people unlocking the why, coming back to the original sort of subject of the podcast, is unlocking that and going, okay, understanding I am the product of everything that I've done is key, because then they go, okay, but it's not hard. Like, if you don't like the house, let's talk about actual houses now. If you don't like your house, you move out, you find a new house. So you can knock it down, you can rebuild it, and you can do it all again. It's not the end of the world. There's still products, there's still resources, there's still the outlet to go and do that. But it's accepting the fact that you've not put forth the effort and you're not happy with the house.
That's the reason why.
And that's the reason why, and you've got to then use that and go, right, okay, that's an emotion, I'm feeling that emotion, why am I feeling that, what's the consequence if I keep living in this house, and so on and so forth, and then just go down that track. But I realise I've just spoke about 9 minutes in this podcast, mate, so
about houses
but yeah, I wanted to get that metaphor in there because it's something that it was powerful when I first heard it, and
it's definitely a light bulb video, isn't it, when you sort of think, that makes so much sense to me. And once you start applying that to your own life, it can be a bit of a like, wow. Definitely can be.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever really applied to me because I'm perfect. But no, I don't. What I mean by that is I don't think I've ever been fully emotionally or lacked any sort of self-confidence, or I've ever really wanted to change that badly, because I'm still only young, right? I've never really been through but I think it can relate, and for me it's more of a forward looking. So for a lot of people you might be 40, 50 and you're looking back and you're going, oh God, everything I've ever done has led me to this moment. Oh shit. What have I done? No. Whereas for me, I feel like I've time stood on my side. So for me, it's like, okay, think about me when I'm 40, 50. I don't want to look back and feel how a lot of other people think.
Definitely.
So when you speak to people, you watch videos, sometimes you might need to adapt it, you might need to change it, you might need to alter somebody's motivational speak and motivational speech. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. That's the one. Anyone think I talk through? So I think mould it, because it's going to apply to you somehow, but we can't apply. One speech can't apply to everybody, but it can if you.
It's not a cookie cutter program, is it? No. But you can find a lot of truth and useful information in different videos. Definitely.
Yeah. Where do you stand on motivation? This is when I say motivation. Where do you stand on Instagram and people posting a quote on a Monday morning who have never done anything really with their life, or they're posting things on the story, or liking a motivational video? Do you think motivational videos are good? Do you think they're bad? Do you think they're useful? Where do you stand on culture, if you know what I mean?
I think there's a lot of good to be had. I think there's a lot of stuff but like you said, I think it's got to come from a person, it's got to carry a little bit of weight, it's got to be someone who demonstrates what they're trying to preach. For example, your David Goggins of the world, if he's saying to you, get your running shoes on, it's raining, who gives a fuck, get out there and run. I know he does that. So I know he's not just sat behind his laptop on a Monday morning eating a Snickers bar, no intention of fucking running.
Just knows it sounds good.
It's got to carry weight. If it's coming from a page or someone's Instagram account that they've just gone on quotes.com and that looks quite good, I'll screenshot that and post that, that's a load of bollocks to me.
Yeah.
And I think people are more aware of that now. It's got to carry weight, you've got to be demonstrating those sort of attitudes yourself. Like when I said to people, get up early, get it in and train, make time. I did a whole week where I was putting a picture of my watch on at 4:30 in the morning, showing people that I practice what I preach. And I think that's far more powerful for someone to look at that and think, well, he's doing it. He's got 2 jobs, 2 kids. He's struggling to find time. He's got up early. He's gone to bed earlier. He's got up earlier. He's got it in before work. I can do that. I think that's a lot more inspirational than Joe blogs. No pain, no gain. Can I put that on? See if that inspires someone.
Yeah, because I think it's become a culture, isn't it? Where it's like you said, it's just empty words almost. It's just a movement where you've got, I don't know, people posting, and it doesn't, not even necessarily gyms and stuff, but just random men and women on Instagram that just post or reshare a motivational video and but then do nothing. It's almost like sharing that post or that quote or that whatever is justifying why they are where they are. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? I think it's I'm sharing this because it's going to show people that I'm motivated.
This is how I think. For this 30 seconds that I've posted it, this is how I think and I believe it. And then back to the norm until next Monday.
It's almost I guess it's almost like coming back to what we spoke about. It starts like a mask, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm putting this out there because I want to be this person.
Brilliant, yeah.
I want to be.
I want to be.
Yeah, but I'm not. But if I put a picture on Instagram or I put a post on my story, I'll come across that I am that person, that I am waking up at 4:30 in the morning, that I am doing these things.
It's like that guy who posts a picture of his healthy dinner. What about your breakfast, tea? What about tomorrow? What about day after? What about just once a week? Oh yeah, on the health kick, I've got a picture of a salad, picture of themselves sat in front of dumbbells, and then nothing, radio silence for a month. This is the life that I want to project, I want to lead, but I just haven't got it in me.
But that's Instagram, isn't it? That's social media, as a whole, it's all a highlight reel. You don't post about the times you binged out and had a meltdown and had a Chinese takeaway, do you?
Yeah.
Like, you don't go, oh my god, just broke down and I've decided to order myself a Chinese. Like,
When
you
I
don't do
do come across that, I have a lot more respect for it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think it's authentic. It's real.
it. Different, isn't it? Like, you don't see a lot of it. So
Or personal trainers talking about how they've gained weight and they've sort of let themselves go. I've got a lot of time for that. There was a trainer in America that I followed called Jared Hamilton. Very, very good guy, very clever guy. And he put an accountability post for himself, topless, saying, I've sort of let myself go. How can I be responsible for your health if I'm sort of letting mine slip aside? So from here on, guys, I'm making a change. And he dropped back down to where he wanted to be. And he owned it, and I thought it was brilliant. It wasn't just the stereotypical flexing in pants, bronzed body, like I'm a personal trainer, I'm absolutely jacked, and this is how I am 24/7, I don't drink, I don't eat any rubbish. We do.
yeah,
We're not robots.
yeah. I think that's come as a bit of a backlash from mental health as well. I think a lot more personal trainers have thought, hang on a minute, I'm showing myself to be this person, and there's only a few, but I'm showing myself to be this person that does this day in, day out. So when people look at changing their lives, they think, well, I can't do that. I can't be that person because I've got kids, because I've got all these commitments externally. I can't
You
put
feel like
forth.
a failure.
Yeah, I can't put forth that effort. So why even bother starting?
Yeah.
Why even bother starting if I know I can't do that 365 days a year?
I think in our profession you've got to find the fine line between inspiring and not making it unrealistic. Like, yeah, you've gone out for a drink, you've gone out your calorie allowance, feeling a bit crap, but we'll start again Monday, and then you show the discipline all through the week that you're training, you're making time for it, you're back on track. That's a much better advert than someone absolutely shredded in a mirror, striking a pose. This is me 24/7 and I never ever fail.
Yeah, or what goes on behind the scenes almost, because I think there's the other side where they either see that or then they see people who are ripped or really slim that are going out and enjoying themselves, and then there's people sat at home scrolling through Instagram, how the fuck are they doing that? And I look like 10 ton Tessa, but they're like still bloody ready for the beach. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, how can they do it? What are they doing? And I think stop doing it for ads and sponsors, and because I know all you famous influencers are going to be listening to this podcast and stuff. You know,
hit subscribe.
It's bound to happen. Do you know what I mean? So I think use your platform. Forget about the money. Forget about the sponsorships. Forget about the ads. Like, there's people out there, and vulnerable people that are looking at you for inspiration and motivation. They're looking at you and they look at you every day and think, I want to be you. I want to be like that person. So show them what has to go into it.
Yeah.
Show them what goes into it, because we know full well it's not the things that you're showing. We know full well that you probably are working hard behind the scenes, right? You probably are putting in the graft.
So we do need to see that, but we also need to understand that person's genetics and environment.
Exactly. We need to understand everything, right?
Everything, yeah. Not just what's packed into a 30-second Instagram clip.
It's like Will Smith. Came out recently, didn't he? You must have seen. He took internet by storm. Anyway, he posted his dad bod, and he's been an actor for years, and he's always looked ripped and defined. And he came out with his like bit of a belly and stuff, and he said,
thoroughly embraced it.
Yeah, and he said, "I thought this is my belly," and he were holding it as if he loved it, and it's embracing that, and he showed that even people like Will Smith, who's got the money to have a nutritionist, a chef, can let yourself go. But I think him saying, "But enough's enough," and showing his journey, because ever since that he's been showing his journey in the gym and stuff, and showing and posting pictures like with his and videos with his like nutritionist and his coach, and telling him what he's doing and how he's doing it. And I think that's great.
That is inspiring.
That's inspiring. Using your platform wisely. You don't have to be a personal trainer, you don't have to be into fitness, but just using your platform. People like Will Smith have got millions of followers.
It's relatable as well.
Even Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I mean, half of us will never look like Dwayne Johnson in our life.
Half.
I mean, 98.9%.
Yeah.
Will never look like Dwayne Johnson in our life, but he's still. But like you said, he shows himself waking up at 4:30 in the morning. He shows us putting in that work. So we look at it and go, well, in all fairness, I mean, he's working 3 times a day. But then he always also saying, but look, I still eat me French toast and me pancakes and all this sort of stuff.
Sushi bowls that
whatever. And I think it's all sort of like, it's using your platform, but not being not being selective with what you show,
being
being real and authentic and open and honest about everything that you show. And I mean, we went off on a bit of a tangent there, but I think it's all key. It's all key to what the reasons why people start the journey, right? I think that's the main sort of reason. I think we went on to. I don't even know how we ended up there, to be honest.
Yeah,
this is our podcast.
Conversation takes you where it takes you.
But yeah, it's all key. I think you're going to find inspiration. You're going to find these things, and that's
Tokyo Drift.
He's making an appearance. You can't be away from these podcasts, can he? Jesus
monster
Christ.
tonight.
How does he know when we're doing them? Because we've done it on a different day today to avoid him, and he's still come back.
He's a crafty bugger.
Boombox will be out next week. But he's sent me off. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's all key to where we start as journeys and
it's inspiration. It starts people's journeys. It goes, right, that's lighted a fire. I want to be like that. I want to do that. I realise I'm not doing enough. I realise I'm not putting forth the effort. I've realised I'm where I am. We've figured all this out, and it's ignited a fire. But in order to keep that fire burning, we've got to really have that emotional connection.
100%.
And that brings us back to the start, doesn't it?
I think if you could capture in a bottle the determination and fire that people possess on a Monday when they're starting out, you'd be a millionaire, wouldn't you? I say it so often, don't burn yourself out. You're so motivated now, let's see where we're at in 10 days, then let's look at 2 weeks, then if we're still like that at 3 weeks, brilliant. This motivation fades unless you've got that strong why, and you can keep referring to that, whether it's, I've got to get in a wedding dress, so actually make better decisions, don't have that piece of cake, or get yourself to the gym, you've got that wedding dress, keep referring to that wedding dress, that's what's going to pull you through the days where it's, I cannot be arsed today. Yes you can, you've got a wedding dress to get into. Strong.
Yeah.
I have personally got a wedding dress to
get into. Say, you keep referring to a wedding dress, mate, so I mean, I
just won't fit in it anymore.
I think that is it, and I think it's not everything. I don't for 1 second think once you've got your why you're going to go on and smash your goals. It's definitely strong, but you can't just go, right, I know what my why is, I want to get in a wedding dress, and then just wake up and go, right, I know exactly what to do, where to go, what goals to set.
We still have to do the hard work ourselves.
And the goals still have to be set, the goals have to be set properly, and like I say to all my clients, that's step number 1. And then step number 2, we actually get down to business and we actually figure out, okay, how do we set these goals? How do we achieve what we want to achieve? We've got the thing that's going to keep us going, but what also keeps us driving is the motivation from reward, the motivation from achievement, success. And we have proper set goals, we have proper set targets.
You don't know when you've done those.
You don't know, that wedding dress still seems miles away, even though you've achieved something, but you've not recorded it, you've not tracked it, you've not assessed it. You're never going to know, and that's when a lot of other people go, well, what's the point? I've not achieved anything. But if you look into that wedding dress, which is your initial why, then it could be a year away, in which case a month down the line, obviously you're not going to be any closer, or you're not going to feel any closer, but it will come. But that's where obviously your smart goals come in, your shorter term goals, all that kind of stuff. So I won't say it's the only thing you need to do.
No.
But it's definitely the starting point.
A massive tool you can use in your favour, definitely.
100%.
I would say to anyone who is thinking of making a change, sit down and write that why down. Try and dig deep, try and be brutally honest with yourself. It might be a little bit upsetting, it might be a bit of an eye-opener, like, Jesus, I maybe drink a bit too much, or there might be a conversation with your other half that you need to have. But yeah, try and discover your why, be honest, write a good paragraph or a full page of what your why is, and I think that'll set you up for success.
I think it will, mate. I genuinely think it will. I don't know if I really think I've got anything to add to that, to be honest. I just think...
Brutal honesty.
My sister, and the reason I sort of talk about that chain and going down that process is, my sister once told me, I actually don't mind saying this, but she suffers with anxiety and she went to CBT, and they said one of the issues and the reasons you have such bad anxiety is because you're not following the process through, or you're not following the thought through. And I've taken that and I've utilised that for my own clients and stuff, because I think it's really valuable, is whenever you think something, don't stop there.
Yeah.
So when you think, oh, it's because of my kids, why? 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 Keep asking why. You'd be that annoying kid when you're like, are we there yet? Like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? No, we're not fucking there yet.
But why?
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah, and really dig deep. And it's like my sister said, I get really nervous when my dog goes near like a cooker. I'm making this up. Why? Because I'm scared he's going to burn his face.
Why?
Why? What's going to happen to his face? Well, it's going to melt off. And just really go down that journey.
I shouldn't be laughing at it. Dog to the face,
but go down that process and really sort of make it scarring, make it upsetting, make it go off. You don't want that to happen. Really don't want that to happen. And because ultimately then you'll go through all the emotions, and like we spoke about in the last podcast, you'll understand that emotion.
Yeah.
And it'll then
becomes real.
It'll become bloody one at Tokyo Drift.
I thought you were coming in there. Crazy frog there.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm trying to be serious as well. Doing it again.
It'll become real.
It'll become real, and it'll be... It will become part of your tool set. So it will become that sort of key tool for when things get tough, for when you're emotional, you'll know, well, I felt this emotion before.
Yeah.
I know how this feels, and I can cope with
It's
it.
a reference point. I've experienced this before. What did I do last time? Right, I did this, that, sort it out, under control.
Exactly that, mate. So yeah, find your why, people. It's crucial.
It is.
If you need help finding your why,
give us a shout.
Either one of us, whichever one you fancy more. Definitely me. I'm younger anyway, fitter, he's got more experience, depends what you want.
Experienced, have an old
we're both taken, so I mean, we don't want you to fancy his fried goal setting, that's all we want.
I mean, I've mentioned my dress, so.
Yeah, he's into cross-dressing, so you know, if that's up your street.
CrossFit, cross-dressing,
whatever thing, we're just doing a dress, clean and jerking a dress, there we go. Banging, right.
Great choice of exercise there. Clean and jerk.
Catch you in a couple of weeks.
On that note,
peace.
Fuck you, Dan. Crazy crowd.
Brilliant that, mate.